Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
The pokies pre-commitment scheme will be introduced in Tasmania in just over 2 years, with cash no longer accepted. It's a major harm minimisation measure and one some thought would never be introduced.
A commitment to pre-commitment. Delivered.
The government supports the Commission's recommendation to implement a statewide player card gaming system with pre-commitment and cashless gaming.
Bringing what we're calling the gold standard of harm minimisation strategy to Tasmanians.
It's a landmark moment in Tasmania's Great Pokies debate. From December 2024, all players will need a card to play pokies in Tasmania. They will be available at all venues and will come with preset limits of $100 per day, $1,000 per month and $5,000 per year. They can be lowered or raised except for the yearly limit, which requires proof a player can financially support it.
Look, I don't know whether they're right, but that they're a starting point.
This will have no impact on nearly everyone, but it'll have a big impact on a small number of people.
What the government's announcing today is a great tool, a tool that will help us to be able to protect Tasmanians who are in need.
The scheme, while short on details, has been welcomed by advocates.
What we've seen today from the state government could be the first time ever that we've seen pokies policy, not written by industry, brought in the best interests of our state and the people of Tasmania. That's something I welcome strongly and warmly.
Federal Group, Tasmania's only current pokies operator, chose not to comment. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
A man involved in a wild brawl at Ulverston's Lighthouse Hotel in 2020 has learned his fate in the Burnie Supreme Court. A jury found Joshua Beard guilty of a fray and unlawfully injuring property during the all-in fight. He'll be sentenced in November. Another man, Aaron McCulloch, pleaded guilty last week to his role in the bedlam. He was fined $100 and will also need to pay compensation to the hotel. Public sector unions have dismissed a roundtable called by the Premier in response to their staffing and workload concerns. They say optimistic hopes were dashed with no solutions presented.
With members striking and cost of living biting, public sector unions were invited to a roundtable with the Premier to smooth out a rocky relationship.
A morning full of expectation, but unfortunately a meeting that delivered very little.
Frustrated unions say they're thankful the Premier is canvassing their concerns, but ultimately they're none the wiser about how workforce crises across health, child safety, education and more will be solved. The Premier issued a statement calling it an open and frank discussion in order to progress current wage negotiations and promising another meeting with proposals next week. A one-off payment on the cards.
If we don't see action, then that's all that this was about. It was just a cynical ploy. We need to see action now and a decent offer that helps workers.
The time for talk is over, according to union representatives. They're demanding action and have shown they're not afraid to strike to get it. But the Premier is warning that action comes at a cost. Every 1% pay rise is roughly $400 million onto the forward estimates.
What will it cost you when we have more nurses, teachers, child safety staff, paramedics leaving Tasmania? What will it cost the Tasmanian community? That's what should be in the front of his mind.
The Treasurer insists there's no wage cap policy. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
More than a year on from a devastating accident which turned his life upside down, Tasmanian Ryan Wiggins is determined to keep fighting. Living with a catastrophic spinal injury, the footballer has revealed his toughest moments as he switches his focus to defy the odds.
A star in the forward pocket.
Ryan Wiggins gets another for Lauderdale.
To being told he would never move again. The initial days after Ryan Wiggins' near-fatal accident was shrouded in a dark cloud.
I definitely wasn't myself and sort of just coming to terms with everything that has happened and sort of dealing with this sort of new life, not what I was expecting where my life would go.
But that fighting spirit on the field lives on, driven to take on the challenges that lie ahead.
Head down, crunch, go. Shoulders down, yes.
I've sort of turned a new page in my life and I'm a lot more happier and excited to live and just look forward to each day and just to see where this journey will take me. And
finding his cheeky personality once again. Giving up is no longer an option, with his carers and family overjoyed at the progress.
Just to see these small changes, that's when I really knew that he had a really good life ahead of him to look forward to.
Australia's football fraternity also wrapping their arms around him.
Dustin here, mate. Just a quick message to send you all my love and support and positive energy.
A relationship with fellow Tasmanian Jack Riewoldt, a special part of the journey.
he did the ride for Ryan as well, which I was completely blown away with, and raised a lot of money for me to be able to keep on going up to Queensland and keep focusing on my rehab.
Ryan is currently undergoing an intense rehab program, spending 5 days a week here at Hype Gym, and is already showing improvements doctors could have never imagined.
When I found out, that Ryan had been just given all these no's, I knew that we could change that.
Now living with hope for the future.
Hopefully, one day down the track I am able to walk and move my arms again.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
The generous Tasmanian is helping to ease community pressure as a new report shows budgets are at breaking point. Her program, Grow Waverley, is providing groceries and clothing to those doing it tough.
With compounding cost of living pressures taking a toll, everyday Tasmanians are taking it upon themselves to give back. Deb runs a small local initiative called Grow Waverley, working to support the community during tough times.
To help the homeless, which is very sad. And I just wished the government would pick up their pace and do something about it, because my power bill has gone up since doing this. It's increased $300 since last year.
But nothing can deter the local hero, operating a stall on the side of the street, providing groceries, clothing and essentials.
When I first started in January, we had about 15 people coming a day, and then it has increased to roughly about 50 a day.
A new report by local consultancy group 3P shows nearly 3/4 of Tasmanians are extremely concerned with the cost of living.
What this report also shows is it's not only low-income Tasmanians that are struggling with the cost of living, it's also middle-income and even higher-income Tasmanians struggling to pay their groceries and pay for power.
It comes as the state's unemployment rate rises to 4.9%, the highest in the country. But the government says it's working to provide some relief.
We're advocating for the federal government to continue at least to the end of the year the fuel excise reduction, which is going to be so important.
St Vinny's is also lending a helping hand, kickstarting a food drive.
Our pantries are being called upon to the degree that we've never met before, and we need the community's assistance in helping us to respond to that need.
200 food bins will be placed around the state, encouraging everyone to dig deep and donate. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Day 2 of Junction Arts Festival has kicked off with a range of workshops, performances and shows around Launceston. Tas Dance has opened its season of Collision, a contemporary piece featuring a cast of 26 professional performers.
They get to make decisions throughout the entire work, so no work is the same twice, which makes it a really exciting thing to view, like the inquiry of what the dancers are doing, what they're interested in, where are they doing, why they're doing that, becomes really, really exciting to watch.
The dance troupe will showcase self-expression and stillness through performative work at QV Mag during the festival, with a special 4-hour session on Saturday. Tasmanian Woolworths supermarkets have raised $96,000 in donations in less than 12 months to help our younger generation. Partnering with St Giles, the funds have gone towards purchasing 2 Australian-made koalas, therapy equipment for toddlers with mobility conditions like cerebral palsy and muscular dystrophy.
Young kids who are experiencing delays in mobility, so maybe delayed in crawling or walking, and these devices give them the means by which they can start to mobilise, to move around in their environment at the same time as the rest of their peers are starting to learn those skills as well.
Fundraising efforts are, when you're going through self-serve registers and you're adding 5 cents and, the donation tins that sit on registers. So when you put as little as 5 cents into those tins, it means a lot. Everything sort of adds up.
The equipment will be made available to families statewide through St Giles, with hopes future fundraising efforts can support more toddlers in need. Hobart's housing market is shaking off the winter blues, recording a 17% surge in new listings last month, according to new data. The latest PropTrack report sees Hobart leading other capitals when it comes to market activity, with 70% more homes available for sale compared with this time last year. The same can't be said for other parts of the state, with new listings down 1% in August.
Kingra coach Trent Bomella says it's business as usual in the lead up to the TSL Grand Final. Laying eyes on the Cup today, the Tigers hope they can hold it aloft as premiers for the first time in the club's history this weekend.
You know, it's a really big moment for us, but our week's been pretty normal. So we come in, Monday's all about reviewing what happened against Clarence and starting to move straight on to Launceston.
This is what you play footy for, to play in grand finals, and not only that, to do it with a group that you've been here for so long and built things up together with them.
They'll face the defending champion Launceston at UTAS Stadium on Saturday. The Jackies have hopped on a plane and are off to the NBL Blitz in Darwin. Departing Hobart Airport around lunchtime, they won't arrive in the Northern Territory until late tonight.
We're actually supposed to leave tomorrow, but thankfully they've allowed us to come a day early to get up there and at least get settled in this evening, and then we'll have a nice practice tomorrow and get adjusted.
There's not that uncertainty of wondering if we're going to be a good team. We know if we go out there and play, jack jumper basketball and do what we're capable of, we're going to be right there in the fourth quarter and have a chance to win games.
The Blitz will be crucial for Jack McVeigh, who will play vital minutes as he recovers from a shoulder injury. Cricket Tasmania is on the hunt for a new coach to take the reins of its successful female programs for the upcoming season. It comes as Sally-Ann Beams, who led the Tigers to the WNCL title, takes on a new role as General Manager of High Performance. Bringing with her a wealth of knowledge from a recent overseas stint, Beams is expected to start the recruitment process.
It wasn't a confident shot, but it's done.
Yeah, we're looking for the right kind of coach that can mentor this group of players. We don't need revolution. We need to evolve what we're doing because things are working pretty well. But hopefully we should get plenty of applicants.
Dan Marsh will step into the role of interim coach with the aim to have a permanent replacement installed by the second round of the Tigers' WNCL season.
Good evening. Hobart 16 today, Launceston and Devonport 14 degrees and Burnie just 12. 18 was the high at Grove and Strawn after a low of -3 at Ooze. Friendly beaches in the Bass Strait Islands 17, St Helens 16, Lowhead 14 and Bushy Park a high of 13 today. An extensive band of middle level cloud crossed the state with showers more prevalent over the northwest. As you can see, not much action there, but plenty more to come. On the bigger picture, there are several cloud bands with fronts. They're over the Southern Ocean heading our way. A band of cloud also extends through Victoria and New South Wales from South Australia, and more cloud was spotted over coastal WA and the eastern seaboard. As mentioned, tomorrow a trough and low move off the east as a large low slowly moves over the bight, with that front set to cross Tasmania during the day. 20 to 30 knot north-northeasterly winds will tend north-northwesterly during the day. Still quite strong. We have a gale warning. That's for waters between St Helens Point and Southeast Cape. A strong wind warning from Southeast Cape to Stanley and also east of Flinders Island. And a flood watch for rivers in the northeast and southeast catchments. So with that, we think there'll be some rain on the way. Showers for Hobart 17, 18 the top for Huonville. Showers for Campania 18 degrees as well. At least the temperatures are holding up. 18 for Launceston. Showers increasing over Devonport, 15 the top and 17 the high for Georgetown, with showers increasing later in the day. A cool one for Burnie, showery and 13 degrees, 18 for Strawn and showers for Wynyard, 15 the maximum. And for St Helens, showers 16, 16 also for Swansea and Port Arthur, all a little wet. On Saturday we are still expecting showers, although little over the southeast. Showers more prevalent over the west on Sunday and more showers into Monday, easing in the evening. Further north and partly cloudy in Perth, showers and 15 for Adelaide. Rain at times in Melbourne. Those times are 9:15, 3:15 and 7 p.m. A sunny 24 in Sydney and showers easing from Brisbane. A few light showers over Hobart, 12 at the moment, 12 in Launceston, showery in Devonport and 12 degrees. Horrible news about those Collingwood supporters not being able to get to Sydney, Kim. Either way, it's going to end in tears for them, isn't it?
Oh, gee, it's hard working with Swan supporters. That is all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. On behalf of the entire team, it's good night.